GETTYLord Adonis has launched another salvo against the BBCThe. Former Labour Education Minister was incensed by comments made by the former BBC political editor, who insisted it was not the beeb's job to seek out pro-Remainers to ensure its coverage was balanced. Writing in the Radio Times, Mr. Robinson wrote, "The referendum is over. The day we broadcasters has to broadly balance the views of the two sides is at an end. Why? Because there are no longer two sides, two campaigns, two rival sets of spokespeople reading out those focus grouped slogans. The war isn't over, and declaring it so is fake news." Lord Adonis He continued, "The BBC's job is not to look over its shoulder wondering whether a report, interview or discussion will provoke letters of complaint or a tide of tweets from Remainers or Leavers, who, like fighters who emerge after months of hiding in a bush, seem not to accept that the war is over. Our job, instead, is to keep our eyes firmly fixed on the audience as a whole, people who would not dream of defining themselves by how they voted in the referendum." GETTY BBC veteran Nick Robinson. But Lord Adonis took exception to the presenter's stance, and in an angry tweet he wrote, "We, Remainers, are apparently bushfighters unaware that the
war is over, but the war isn't over, and declaring it so is fake news." From the
attack on the BBC comes just days after he blamed the corporation for fueling the popularity of Brexit, and Nigel Farage with non-stop bias coverage of both. GETTYLord Adonis insists his fight to stop Brexit is not over. He tweeted, "For those urging me to go quiet on the BBC, important to understand that Brexit we are going to win next year's final deal referendum to honour our European destiny as a people." Lord Adonis, along with Tony Blair and Nick Clegg, have called for a second Brexit referendum at the end of negotiations in the hope of reversing the June 2016 result.